next few days, we're going to be exploring Hatcher Pass and some of the many things to do here. Hatcher Pass is not a town, but it is actually a mountain pass that showcases some of the best of the Talkeetna Mountain range. Our first stop is the Indepence Mine State Historical Park. It emerged in 1980 and the goal was to preserve the mine's legacy, and we're super excited to explore.
Indepence Mine was born in 1938 when two companies merged, forming the second most productive hard rock gold mine in Alaska. The merger between the two companies set the stage for gold production in the state, and in 1941 this mine was at its peak with 204 workers. They had carved out almost 12 miles in tunnels, collecting over $18 million worth of gold. But when World War II came along, they actually had to stop their gold mining because the mining was deemed as not essential. But after the war, they shortly resumed, and in 1951, the Indepence Mine closed its doors.
We were hoping to be able to go into a few more of the buildings, but unfortunately most of them are closed to the public unless you pay to go on a tour, and we decided to just walk around and see what we could see, check out the mine, and also these beautiful views that are surrounding the mine. It's so crazy to be walking around a mine that has produced so much money and now it is just left in shambles besides everything that was restored.
This is the first gold mine we have ever been to, and it's so cool to walk around and see the old structures and learn about the process and how gold mining works. While the mining town was so awesome to check out, there are a few hikes in the area, and we chose one right across the parking lot. It's called the Gold Cord Lake Trail. It's a 1.5 mile moderate trail, and we should expect beautiful views the entire time.
We made it to Gold Cord Lake after a very short hike. These views do not disappoint at all. The water is so beautiful. It's clear and blue, but it's hard to capture it for what it is because the reflection is just crazy. When we first got up here, there were a bunch of people. It's a very family-friendly trail, so it's very trafficked, which totally makes sense. But the rain started to come down and everyone left, so we got to see it all for ourselves. But now we're getting ready to make our way back down to the car. We are at the top of the Hatcher's Pass at 3,886 feet of elevation, and we're going to do one more hike before we find camp for the night.
We are ending our night with the April Bowl Trail. It is a 2.2 mile moderate trail and it goes up pretty quickly in elevation. We just started and you can see how far down there our truck is, but let's get going.
After just a 15-minute hike, you already reach the lake, which is super cool, but you can actually go up these mountains behind us and get a little bit better of a view. So we're gonna climb up there and see what it looks like from above. Behind us there's some snow melt or glacier melt. We're not really sure, but the water's super blue, so it makes us think it's probably glacier melt. But around it on the snow there is some weird pink stuff, and I'm super curious what that is. So I'm gonna look it up when we get back to Signal. But we're getting close to the top, kind of. We're just gonna keep going.
From the point we're at, it looks like you can go a little bit further up, but the views here are just incredible. You have the mountains and the fog that's just so beautiful on one side, and then I spin around here and you've got these lakes, this little snow melt. It's just incredible up here.
I'm really glad we came when we did, because as you can see behind me, the mountains are fully covered in fog and it's raining and it's windy, but we're making our way down and we're not too far from the car now.
We pulled up to the site we were gonna stay at tonight, and it looks like it's an active mine site according to the sign, so we're gonna have to find another option.
There were a couple other options that we could have boondocked at, but it was a little bit further down the road and a little bit off the road, so with it being as wet and rainy as it is, we decided to just come to this lot here that you can pay to stay at, and it's $10 a night, so we paid, and now we're just parking. This morning we are blessed with some beautiful blue skies. Unfortunately, it's not supposed to last more than a few hours, and the hike that we're doing is going to take us a little bit more than a few hours. We're doing Reed Lakes hike, which is a hard 8.7 mile hike that has some beautiful views and lakes to look at, and it looks like it's just going to be an incredible hike, but we're going to get going, so hopefully we don't get rained on. Around this trail, we've been seeing lots of blueberries, and we picked a couple to try, and they're definitely not ready yet. They're super sour, but how cool is that?
From here on out, there are a few Boulder Fields and we're just approaching the first one, and it doesn't look too bad, but we did read some reviews saying that some people's dogs had issues, but our dogs choose the challenging routes on all hikes, so we think they're gonna be fine. The last boulder field was no challenge for the dogs, but this one, the boulders look a little bit larger and could be a little bit more of a challenge. But for Oreo and Brayden, I don't really think it's gonna be a challenge for them. And it's pretty short because we're just going right across here.
Good boy.
That was definitely a little bit more of a challenge. The boulders were pretty big, so getting from one to the other, especially when they're a little sideways, is a little rough. Oreo was fine, Brayden was a little bit scared, but we made it, so let's keep going.
We went up a little ridge and then we were met by a larger boulder field, which wasn't as difficult because it was definitely more traffic, so you can tell where you were going. And I think with the river that was flowing through it, it made the dogs a little less scared and they were hopping rocks. You might as well call them mountain goats at this point. We're 3.5 miles in and the rain is really dropping at this point, but we made it to Lower Reed Lake. A lot of people stop and enjoy this beautiful lake and turn around, but we're not. We're going all the way up to the upper lake.
We made it to the upper lake, and as you can see behind me, it's still very blue, even though it's pouring, but it's super cold and super rainy. We can't really enjoy it too much. The dogs are super cold, so we're gonna beeline it back.
Safe to say the way down is a little slick. We took some falls. Check out Ashley's booty. Keep going. Covered in mud. But let me show you mine. I definitely fell. I definitely got the worst of it. Check this out. Really bad. But we must keep trekking on. The dogs are doing great. I wish we were able to enjoy this trail with better weather, but it's still, the lakes are so beautiful and it's still so much fun, regardless of the slip and slides.
On the way back down, we have come across some more berries, and they're a little bit more ready to eat and not as sour. So we've been just hanging out, picking some berries, and we're probably about 20 minutes from the car. And before it starts raining again, we're gonna keep moving. We made it back to the truck, and I'm so glad we made it here without any injuries, because that hike was very, very slippery. And I was just telling Grayson that I think it would be in my top 5 hikes if we came here on a clear day and there wasn't the mud. But even with the mud, it was still a really fun hike, and the views were absolutely incredible. And we definitely got here at a great time, because when we got here, there were not this many cars.
I'm gonna do the A+ mocha shake. Thank you.
After a nice hike, we were looking for something sweet, so we came over to Little Miller's Market and got some milkshakes. But as we were waiting in line to get our milkshakes, a moose ran across the parking lot. I was trying to get the camera out in time to get it, and it was gone. But now we're actually on a hunt to see if we can find that same moose. Unfortunately, we did not find the moose, but fortunately, these milkshakes are really good. I got a Reese's milkshake, and what did you get?
I got an espresso milkshake that has chocolate ice cream and Heath bar in it. It is so good and feels so deserved after that long muddy hike. It almost looks like I'm drinking the mud now that I look at it. After our hike, we originally planned to go to a highly rated food truck bus that unfortunately was closed today because today's Monday and they're closed on Monday. So on our way back to the main highway, we found Little Miller Market and their milkshake was so good. We were both very happy with what we got. And we've enjoyed our time here at Hatcher Pass, exploring the mine, hiking, and I feel like we just scratched the surface because there is a lot to do here. And we are just so excited for our next adventure in Alaska. So make sure you're following along by hitting that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.